Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Blowout Sports Podcast. I'm Ryan Hayes.
I'm Dylan Bracha.
We had a interesting week 8, some interesting games, and a devastating injury. Another Achilles tear for a starting quarterback. Kirk Cousins is out for the season.
A lot of pain in this one. I think everybody in the league really likes Kirk Cousins. I think a lot of fans of the league like Kirk Cousins. He's created so many moments. Obviously, my favorite is the "You like that?
You like that?"
He's such a good football player, such a good quarterback. His knowledge of the game is very high, and to see him go down, I mean, did you see him on the sideline still cheering for the team?
Yeah, cheering, just getting on the stretcher. I mean, it exemplified him as an individual, gained a ton of fans from that quarterback documentary. He's the ultimate teammate. Terrible to see him go down. We're not sure what this means for his future. We're not sure if he'll play another game for the Vikings.
Last year, the deal, I mean, there was talks about him getting traded in the first place. He wanted to finish it out there. Very, very unfortunate that this is how it's going to end.
Just kind of a wild situation that they had. The fact that, it's almost unheard of for a quarterback of his caliber and his situation to be playing in a contract year, to be playing with no contract extension going forward. But Kirk has always kind of rode on the edge with that sort of stuff. He played on the franchise tag for 2 years in Washington. He got away with it. Here, he gets the Achilles tear right at the end during a contract year. It's terrible. You hate to see it. Not sure what they'll do.
I don't either. I mean, the rumors heading into the postseason, and I mean, that's a long ways away, were that they were going to move on from Kirk. And part of me now thinks, what is the goal with this season for them? Is the solution we're just going to lose out and get a quarterback? Are they going to make the playoffs? Do they have a record at the end of the year that becomes possible? I don't think so.
To me, no.
Right?
I think they immediately become one of the worst teams in the whole league without Kirk Cousins.
So that leads to what my point is. Does this become a wake-up call for them that they need Kirk Cousins next year? Because it seems like they were ready to move on from Kirk, and he's been top 10 this year.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Like, maybe this shows the Vikings, like, hey, we got to give him that, that 3-year deal, 3 or 4 year deal, get him till he's 38 or 39 and have him for the rest of his career. Now, but who knows how he does with the Achilles recovery? I mean,
that changes everything too.
Really hard. Maybe some quarterback desperate team who maybe has, I could even see like the Bears getting in on him or some
I wanted
the
Pats. I wanted him. I still do.
Yeah, who's just gone with the rookie quarterback over and over. It's not working.
Yeah,
but
a lot of teams look at their team and say, "Hey, we have a good enough team right now, and we're a quarterback away from at least making a move." Look at the Jets last year. Yeah. They were a very good football team, and a lot of them felt, hey, we're a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, look at the Packers. What if they don't move on from Jordan Love and Kirk Cousins? That would be an upgrade.
I mean, talk about divisional rival there, and Kirk can just shove it right back to him.
Absolutely. I could totally see that. The Vikings, for the meantime, will have Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, breaking news trade at the deadline. I don't like that. I think that was probably the worst option they could have went with in terms of trading for a backup to be starter the rest of the year. I don't think Dobbs has earned a starting job in the NFL. No offense to him. Yeah. I mean, he played really good the first 3 weeks, and since then, I think he's fallen off a little bit.
Just logically speaking, the trade, the Cardinals were kind of starting to want to move on from him. They have that rookie that they want to see. And, the Vikings had an immediate need at quarterback, so the need was there. No team is going to have to go find a new backup. Yeah, it's not ideal for the Vikings. Dobbs isn't going to be
It's like when you look at the Vikings, they are still playing for a playoff spot. Like, they think they can still get there. Like, and they do have an offense, minus a quarterback now, and they have, bits and pieces of the defense. I'm not high on their defense, but, like, they've shown up a little bit here and there. They could go on a run. I mean, they're not eliminated by any means. And Justin Jefferson's going to come back at some point, and he's one of the best wide receivers in the world. That's not, like, he's going to put up numbers, I would imagine. So my mind went to, if you're in the Vikings situation, you're trading for one of 2 backups that aren't playing right now and can, I'd say, start and get you at least wins. Jacoby Brissett was my first one. They're pretty set on Sam Howell in Washington. I don't know. He's gained like $9 million as a backup. I was surprised they didn't move on from him. I don't know what you thought.
The Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
I thought that could have been an option. I was just kind of looking into how Josh Dobbs had been traded twice in one season.
True.
Now it's just so wild. I mean, there were other options for Minnesota, maybe, but the compensation would have had to be a lot higher because those are teams' actual backups. The Cardinals didn't view Josh Dobbs in that way, so they only gave up. They traded Josh Dobbs and a 7th for a 6th round pick.
Yeah.
So the Vikings didn't need to give up, a huge package to get him, and maybe even a discount maybe for Josh Dobbs, considering the Cardinals traded a 5th round pick, and now obviously Josh Dobbs probably doesn't have that huge amount of value regardless, and those are 5th and 6th round picks we're talking about, but not terrible business by the Cardinals if they got what they wanted out of Dobbs.
They're winning out of that, in my opinion. Like, Dobbs was not going to be their guy going forward.
Yeah, they lose a little bit of a pick, but you know what? They should have just stuck with Colt McCoy this whole
That's what
Josh
I thought
Dobbs,
in the whole first place.
But to put a button on it, I'm happy for Josh Dobbs that he's getting this opportunity.
The other guy I wanted to say was Jameis Winston.
Right.
Who's another starting caliber. I'd say
would have been better
than Josh
probably.
Dobbs. Even Taylor Heineke, I would throw in there.
Oh, yeah.
He could start.
I don't know if the Falcons were going to get rid of him because I think
so.
they're getting rid of Ritter probably. Or not getting rid of him.
But it's still, I'd say, week to week.
Not getting rid of him.
Yeah. I just don't know where maybe those teams were like, no, we aren't doing this.
That's what I'm thinking, because you don't, in the middle of the season, like, hey, you're the Saints, we see ourselves as in a playoff push. Derek Carr has had his issues. The Falcons probably aren't even that confident in Ritter as it is. And then the Brissett situation. What is he on? What team is he on?
Washington.
So
I think a big part of that, all 3 of those teams NFC, all 3 of those teams think they can make the playoffs.
Right. Yeah,
that's what went through my mind come to it, but
they probably could have gotten
if you could have gotten a good deal.
Brissett probably would have been. They could have looked into him,
right?
But maybe
he played really well for Cleveland last year.
Yeah, he's the type of guy you want. This is why it's so important to have a good backup quarterback. And I know this isn't, but PJ Walker, I think we kind of seen some struggle. Like, having a good backup is huge.
It is huge.
Like, you need it. And then PJ won 2 games, but teams aren't just gonna get rid of them for nothing. You know, I mean, like, even though they don't play, some of them are big on the week-to-week game plan. He's in the quarterback's ear. He's, been a mentor for him or whatever it may be.
There's a reason you carry 2 quarterbacks all year.
Absolutely.
Like, you don't know what can happen, and a quarterback can go down at any point. You hope not. You hope nobody goes down.
It happens, though.
But you have to have those in case of those situations.
Like we've seen Zach Wilson. We'll see some Josh Dobbs. All because of Kyler Murray was out at the beginning. So we've seen the Commanders. That we initially thought maybe it was going to be one. We knew probably one of the edges was going, but it ended up being both. Sweat going to the Bears.
I know you're
Chase
happy.
Young to the Niners. I'm very happy. I think this is a good move for the Bears. They tried to plug. They had this dam, like, flowing water everywhere, and they tried to plug up the hole with a Band-Aid that was Yannick Ngakoue, and that wasn't enough. So Sweat is good. He's formidable. He will push a lineman back. He's good in the run game. He's just generally will generate more penetration for that line. He's been relatively healthy. He's solid. Just
funny stat about Sweat: 6.5 sacks on the year. The Bears in total have 6.5 sacks on the year.
There you go.
You gotta hope he at least applies more pressure to the opposing quarterbacks. Like, I think it's a good move. I mean, what'd they give up? They only gave up
second round.
A second round.
So it's good. Big compensation.
It's a high
value position.
It is a
high end talent, I think, too. I think he's a little more under the radar. Like, people like to look at the high sack guys, the high production guys, but I think Sweat is just a solid guy. Gives 100% effort. Like Chase Young, I mean, you see sometimes he'll take some plays off with Chase Young. Like, I preferred Sweat over Young in general because of the injury concerns and just the general player. I don't know. But Chase Young is a huge addition for the 49ers.
I was going to say, I think that's a huge addition for the Niners. And they're competing with the Eagles, who've been bulking up. So that defense, is already really good. any sort of Chase Young on that is going to be filthy. Him and Nick Bosa are going to be terrifying to play against.
It's hard to even imagine how good that team is going to be. I want to pull up their depth chart right now just to see all the guys that they're going to have swarming around the ball. I mean,
it's just their defense has been so good, even in previous years. Like they're known for a good defense, and they've added obviously on the offensive side.
Chase Young, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave, Nick Bosa, and then on the backups we got Cleveland Farrell, Javon Kinlaw, Randy Gregory. I mean, these are really high-end players. A lot of these backups are starters.
Not to mention Fred Warner. I know it's a different position, but
Greenlaw.
Yeah,
these are some great players. And then they got in the back. Hufanga's an excellent safety.
Yes, he
Various
is.
Ward's a good corner. I'm surprised at this resurgence of Tashawn Gibson back at free safety now. Good for him. He wasn't with the Bears doing too well, but the Niners have seemed to get a lot out of him.
They just they have such a good defensive scheme, and I mean their defense is gonna attack you and they're gonna make plays, and that's what works for them so well. And now you had Chase Young, who former second overall pick. We know what you're going to get with Chase Young when he's healthy. He's a great player.
Yeah, no, that's huge. That is massive.
That's a massive pickup for the year, and they're going for a Super Bowl. They are don't let the 4-3 record surprise you or take you away from that. They're going to rebound, and that trade is a really good step in the right direction to get them there.
Imagine you told the Niners in 2019 when Chase Young was coming out, you're gonna have this guy in a few years. He'll be on the Niners.
It's a crazy, and think about in 2019 they almost won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Now with a very familiar team, they didn't change too much since then. In the big scheme, they've added a lot more. Christian McCaffrey, who was the winner of the last deadline, they absolutely won getting him.
Oh yeah.
And they might have won this year too. I'm not sure who else had a bigger trade in terms of that. I mean, the Bears can be argued.
Sure. I mean, that was a big one. Leonard Williams going over to the Seahawks.
Seattle is a big one. But again, you have to see the output you get from these guys now that they're there. Just because a big name goes to your team doesn't mean big things happen.
Right.
You need to see what they can do there.
Yeah, I see. I honestly, it seems like a kind of out there, but Seahawks Niners NFC Championship isn't
Could you imagine?
Out of the question, because both these teams are really solid. The defensively, Draymond Jones, Jaron Reed, Leonard Williams on the D line now for the Seahawks. I mean, they are really solid, and their secondary is really the strong point of that defense too. With Witherspoon,
great rookie,
Tariq Woolen. I guess he's Reek Woolen now.
Yeah,
Quandre Diggs back there. They are really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, and you look at the Seahawks are beating solid teams too.
Yes, they are.
I look at some of the top teams and I'll say oh well, who have they beaten? But then you look at the Seahawks, it's they beat the Browns.
Just beat the Browns in a good game too.
Yeah, and
won
then
at the buzzer almost.
Even the ones they're losing, they play the Bengals close. They beat the Lions.
I was about to say they beat the Lions.
Yeah, so they're winning these games.
They held the Bengals to what, 16?
17?
Yeah, that's a good defensive showing.
Yeah, so they're good. I feel like they're just kind of getting started.
Yeah.
Huge game this week against the Ravens in Baltimore. So
that's a
huge power balance game in general. I mean, we're going to learn a lot in that game because I think that those are two of those teams that probably at the beginning of the season weren't regarded necessarily as Super Bowl favorites, but I think
they're in the contention.
Right, as they start to kind of, knock these wins and keep knocking them down, they start to seem a little more formidable.
Yeah. Well, quick rundown of the other couple trades that broke today. We've got Donovan Peoples-Jones traded to the Lions. I don't know how that's going to work out, but that adds to their wide receiver depth.
Strange one there. I'm surprised the Browns are subtracting from the wide receiver.
Yeah.
I thought they'd be adding to it.
Very strange.
They've had quarterback struggles. They lost their top running back. I just don't know. The Browns are horrible.
That was a weird
it was on character for that horribly run organization.
Next up, Jags trade for offensive lineman Ezra Cleveland.
Yeah, depth piece.
I think that helps Jags. I mean, Trevor Lawrence had that near injury battle, so I mean, keep him protected. Bills trade for cornerback Rasul Douglas from the Packers.
That'll help. They need cornerback depth. He's a resurgence in Green Bay. We'll see what the Bills can get out of him.
We'll see what he can get. I mean, they gave up a third for him. They got a fifth in him in return.
Okay.
They obviously don't have Trey White for the rest of the year.
Yep.
That's a big blow. They needed corner help. I don't know if that's enough to really put them over the edge for that, but who am I to judge this early?
Hard to say.
It is hard to say.
Hard to say. And then we had some drama with Devontae Adams, especially.
Yeah, we got a lot of not traded. I would say we've got more
trades.
Not traded than traded this year.
Agree. Yeah.
Devontae Adams requested to be traded.
Right.
They said no.
Judy and
Sutton were on the block. I mean, we're talking about pretty good wide receivers, and teams were in need of wide receiver. You talked about Cleveland needing a new pass catcher this whole time. The Colts could have been in for that. Before the Pats were interested, at least in the Broncos wide receivers. I don't know where the communication got cut off.
I saw one weird thing. I saw that teams were paying the Bears a high price for Darnell Mooney.
Yeah,
they were saying no. They were just
that's crazy.
I think they were probably asking for a first round pick, which seems crazy, but like wide receivers get.
I was gonna say, if they trade Darnell Mooney, who else is there? It's DJ Moore, and then they don't even have Chase Claypool.
I don't think that they're trying to really rock the boat too much for the development of the offense in general. But I mean, the wide receiver market, it is not easy to trade for wide receivers. No. They are considered very valuable in this league, and for good reason. I mean, there is a huge difference between the top receivers and the mid receivers.
Well, look at a team like the Colts, and for example, like Michael Pittman's a good wide receiver. I think he'd be better with somebody else next to him that might be a little bit better and can help. I mean, like we looked at what he did his rookie year; those were great stats. But he had what's his name still playing there, Ty.
Yeah.
And then you start to question what some guys can do when they're the one.
Right.
There is a level of, we're here, the A.J. Browns, the Tyreek Hills, Jamar Chases, the Justin Jeffersons, Devontae Adams. Those guys, it doesn't matter who's throwing them the ball. It doesn't matter who's guarding them. They're going to get open and they're going to catch the ball.
Right, yeah. And having one of those guys
makes everybody else really good.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing an offense can have, take away the team's top corner.
Yep.
If the team doesn't have a top corner, hey, you're having a good day.
Hey, you're having a really good day. Who else? I mean, the Pats didn't make any trades away. I thought they were going to move Uche on the last year of his deal out. Zeke, I heard, was getting calls for him. I don't know. Maybe they want to keep him around, but I'm not sure. I would have thought we would have tried to get some draft pick capital.
Jalen Johnson was a huge one.
That was huge.
Big drama. They gave him the permission to seek the trade. My read on it was they were kind of, like, all right, what contract can you get? Like, who's going to offer you what? I don't think the Bears wanted to move on from him. He's probably a top 5 corner. I don't think so either. In the league.
He's strong at what he's doing right now.
Absolutely.
He made a great case against the Raiders.
Yeah, he's probably, I don't know who else is there, but he's one of the top press corners in the entire league. Big physical guy. He, a lot of teams like the more speedy corners, but he's kind of more physical.
Corner's a tough market right now too. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of really, really good corners in the league right now, and there's a lot of great corners in the league. But I mean, like when you're breaking it down, like
guys that can defend
level.
that high echelon type, Mike Evans type. I mean, he did terrible against Mike Evans, but, like honestly.
He's developing nice stuff.
Yeah, he's 24. I mean, he's going to be a really good corner. I hope that they are able to get some sort of deal done with him at some point because, you want to keep the good players. I mean, that's how you become a good team.
Yeah.
You keep retaining talent and you develop it.
I mean, I wouldn't have traded him personally. Yeah. They asked him to go out and find something. That doesn't mean they were going to trade him in any way. But they appeased him a little bit.
Yeah, right.
So.
Make him happy. Yep. Give him goodwill into the negotiations going forward, I guess.
I can't think of anybody else, though.
I think that about covers it.
Yeah, who was at least rumored or asked.
Going into some of the action from last week, the Niners, third straight loss.
Third straight loss. I think they're in a slump right now. They're struggling, but I think right now is their best time to have the bye week. Like a lot of teams prefer it late. I don't think it could have come at a better time for the Niners.
I agree. They need time to regroup, redevelop, get it going, and
they add Chase Young. That's a big step in the right direction.
That'll improve the morale. I'm sure a little bit. Yeah, Niners fans, I think they'll be okay. Jaguars slowly turning into one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, they're on fire.
Absolutely.
They're on fire.
Seeing them in everybody's top 10 teams. Everybody's loves
They got
Jaguars
one of the best
right
records. Only 2 losses on the year. I mean, they look great.
No, they're
and
on
ETN
fire.
is playing out of his mind, too.
Trevor Lawrence, elite.
Yep.
It's kind of like Peyton Manning.
That's a big comparison. I don't know
he
about all
reminds
that,
me of
but
him, low-key. Like, he just, like, I don't know.
We'll
Man's
see.
offense is good.
Yeah,
Tall guy. I don't know. I like
we had Mahomes' flu game trying to be Jordan.
Unfortunately, he
He
ended
was
up losing
not Michael Jordan.
to
3
the
turnovers.
Russell Wilson.
Russ cooked.
Russ cooked.
He's
back.
Don't go that far.
Russ is back.
I don't think Russ is back, but I think the Chiefs' defense relies a lot on the Chiefs' offense. I feel like when the Chiefs' offense plays good, the Chiefs' defense plays pretty good. I didn't see the same Chiefs' defense we've been seeing when the Chiefs' offense has been on fire. I don't know.
Yeah, I think sometimes you're just gonna throw up a stinker.
Yeah,
this was like what they did. I mean,
Mahomes didn't help. He had 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
No touchdowns. That's the first time he's ever had that happen in the NFL.
he's got to regroup, and come back. Do they? What do they have next week? Do they have a bye or do they?
They have Miami.
Oh,
That's
doesn't
tough.
get in Germany.
In Germany,
All right.
9:30 in the morning for American viewers.
Well, there
East
you
Coast,
go.
at least.
There you go.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, good luck. Who knows what'll happen in that game? Really?
No, I mean I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I mean, I'm good for the Germans. They deserve that.
That's a
that
fun game.
I think they had kind of a bad one last year, but they still loved it.
Who did they have last year? I think it was like the Raiders or something.
I remember watching it.
I
just don't remember who was playing.
I don't remember. I know they get this game and they have Pats Colts. That one won't be as good.
No. Yeah, if I was someone in Germany, I would definitely be trying to hit this Chiefs up Miami one. For our German viewers out there.
Our German viewers.
Jordan Love looked pretty terrible
Jordan
against the
Love
Vikings.
looked really bad. I don't know what's going on there. I want to keep giving him the benefit of the doubt being, first time playing, but he's got to step it up. We've seen these flashes of him looking great, and it's like, where's that? Gone.
He looked good against the Bears.
Picks. Yeah.
Kind of said that last week.
But, I mean, he's getting a lot of rushing touchdowns early on, and now the picks have added up, and he looks like he's a little more nervous playing quarterback.
Yeah.
Something's got to change there. Somebody's got to sit down with him and kind of see where his head's at.
I gotta be honest, it doesn't seem like he has it. Like,
you don't think?
No, I honestly don't.
I feel like he needs some time to develop. I wouldn't give up on him after a couple games.
Yeah,
like,
I don't want to
his
write him
potential.
off, but it's just like
it's
just
a fair
feeling.
thing to feel.
Yeah.
The Panthers got their first win this week.
Yeah, good for them.
Good for them.
I'm not too happy about it. I want them to keep losing, but
yeah,
hey, I good for them beating the Texans, kind of surprising them, hitting 5 field goals.
Yeah. It's funny because it came out like right before the game that initially Houston wanted Bryce Young. They were talking about trading up, and inevitably didn't, and they took Stroud. And in my opinion, I'd rather have Stroud. I had that before the draft. I know Bryce Young had more hype. For me, I thought Stroud was the more complete quarterback.
Stroud's definitely more NFL-ready quarterback.
Yeah.
I think Bryce Young has that potential to be kind of...
Yes, no, I'm not taking it away. I think Stroud's in a better situation right now, too.
And but Bryce Young, you got to be worried about
Oh,
that.
yeah,
I
mean,
he's little.
He is small, and I mean, not all quarterbacks, fit the same criteria, but he got the better of Stroud, in game 1, their first time playing.
Good point.
He got the win. It's a team game, but you know how everybody likes to face quarterbacks up against each other.
Oh, yeah. Seahawks got a big win over Cleveland.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of thought that was going to be a big one for Cleveland, but Seattle shows everybody why they're a competitive team.
I think they're just so well coached. I really do. Every year they're a winning record. They're a good team. Last year everybody wrote them off. They traded Russ. They were like, these guys are the worst team in the league, and you saw what they did after that. Geno didn't write back. He's continuing to not write back. He looked great, and he hit that.
Right back though.
He did not, and he hit that game winner to the rookie. So it was nice to see that.
Yeah, pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome stuff. Ravens keep it moving. Closer one against the Cardinals. Keep it going.
Yeah, I mean that just goes to show you it's a week-to-week game. The Ravens looked phenomenal last week, and this week they're playing a team that nobody has a lot of hope in, and they win by a one touchdown game.
Jahmyr Gibbs finally gets it going Monday night.
Yes. Oh, my God. This is what Lions fans are clamoring for.
Fantasy owners are
very happy.
Very happy.
We're seeing what Gibbs can be, and that's exciting.
Oh, yeah. He's a fun player. He's very fun.
Yeah. On the other end of the ball, though, the Raiders, I don't know what's going on there.
I said this. They could be the worst team in the whole league. I mean, just dysfunctional.
I think they're in the worst situation. I do think future-wise they are in cap hell, and I don't know what they can do.
Terrible coach.
Yeah, McDaniels.
No cohesion.
Get the ball to Devontae Adams.
I mean, you're not
too,
throwing
right?
to Devontae Adams.
I mean, even the balls they're throwing, Jimmy G's throwing them out of bounds and way too far.
Something about Raiders and angry wide receivers. I don't know what it is.
I mean, it's crazy. And he went there for Derek Carr and he got Jimmy G the next year.
Yeah, like what is that about? Like, how are you going to bring in Devontae?
I don't know.
It doesn't even make sense. Like, Jimmy G is not an upgrade over Derek Carr. He's not. I mean,
I would put them in the similar.
It's like a lateral move at best.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an upgrade. You're not like to me. You're going from like a B- to a C+. Like, I don't know.
It is tough. Like, I don't know what prompted that really. Like, I think in their overall run, they were like, we're good with Derek Carr. Yeah. But they didn't get somebody that you would have thought would have kept them in a contention race, for the AFC.
Raiders are such a weird team to me because like they always like. I don't know. Derek Carr, to me, like, there was a time where he was good enough, but I feel like they never put enough effort into developing the rest of their team.
Yeah.
To really, like, I don't know. They're just so flat. Like, I just looked through the Raiders roster, and it's, like, devoid of talent completely, besides a few star names. And it's, like, I'm just really confused what's going on over there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think back of who else they could have signed instead of Jimmy G, and it's like, I mean, they weren't getting Aaron.
I mean, I'm just sure there were probably other directions. They signed him like on the first day of free agency.
They did, and they signed him to a pretty big deal.
And that's so weird to me. Yeah. I just do not understand.
Football's a tough spot to manage, and I don't know. I don't know.
I can confidently say I wouldn't have done that. Are you ready to make some game picks for next week?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Cool. Thursday night game, we have in Pittsburgh, we have Titans and Steelers.
Oh, how could we not mention that? Will Levis out game.
Oh, yeah, we never. All right. Yeah, Will Levis threw 3 to DeAndre Hopkins.
3 to D-Hop and 4 total on the game. What a debut.
Huge. I mean, honestly, the Connecticut kid making it happen.
What a performance from him, though. This guy has been number 3 on the depth chart all year. I got to ask why. You're watching this game, and maybe it's a fluke, but they aren't high on Malik.
Yeah, it's hard to
imagine. And they kept Malik above him.
It's hard to imagine Will Levis was playing worse than Malik Willis in practice, given what we just saw.
So is there hesitancy somewhere?
The rookie, maybe? They wanted to give... Like, I don't know why they felt Malik was entitled to the spot before. Because... Malik Willis, the tape he's put out so far in the NFL has been very, very bad.
Yeah.
And like...
Other than preseason?
Even last year.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, this guy is not even close. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's not to say he can't get there, but, Will Levis looked NFL ready. He was throwing the ball to the top receiver, like Tannehill, maybe take some notes.
Yeah.
Like, give the ball to DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, Tannehill was missing throws. He's underthrowing everything.
Tannehill's not good. Will Levis is an accurate passer, and he's going to take that starting job so quickly.
It could be scary for the AFC South.
It's gone. Tannehill's already lost the job.
I would have to say, coming into this year, I don't know why it was Tannehill's job.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know what Tannehill has done to keep that job. I think I've brought it up on the podcast.
He just got paid a lot of money when he signed, and they can't get rid of him.
He's no good. Man, when they signed him to that extension,
I
remember where I was. I remember where I was when they I was like, there's no way. Yeah. They just gave it was like 4 years, 120.
He's got like one of the most cap space, deadlocks on any team.
Really?
Yes.
Like Tannehill. It's just like, why did that happen?
Then, you look in the future. I mean, you fast forward, you get Malik Willis. He's not panning out how, you'd want him to be. And then you get Will Levis the next year. They got him late enough that it's like, what the hell? Why not? And they haven't used him until now. and
it's
he
funny.
absolutely lights up the Falcons.
It's actually funny. Do the Titans, as an organization, even want Will Levis? Because they had there was a lot of people who thought they might draft him in the first round, and they smartly took Skoronski.
Yeah.
But then they ended up, almost it seemed like they were like Cokes. Yeah, they traded up to that 32nd overall pick because one of them was forfeited of the first round of the second round.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird. Like, it almost seems like they had to get Will Levis. Like, obviously they did that and they wanted him and they drafted him. But yeah, they had him third on the depth chart, and then he comes in and he finally goes.
It's one of those things where
they've stumbled into
I gotta ask. I'm like, has he not been good in practice, or have they been missing something? Like, there is something that has to make up for him being third on the depth chart.
Yeah, I mean, I think his play will probably warrant him being the starter moving forward.
I mean, he's earned another game at least. I mean, I like what the Falcons defense brings, but
it's
the
not going to be
Steelers
as easy
defense
next
is
week.
going to be tougher.
It's not going to be as easy. Pittsburgh's flying around. Is Kenny Pickett going to be playing this on Thursday?
I don't know. He's been questionable. He's got the rib injury. I don't know if you could check the availability of him. That changes a lot, in my opinion.
He is for sure playing against the Titans.
He is for sure playing.
According to Kenny Pickett himself.
Oh, okay. So Pickett is a pretty good source. That being said, Pickett hasn't been, great by any means, but he's been good enough to win them games. They haven't, he hasn't blown too many games, I'd say.
Yeah, no, Pickett plays well, especially toward the end of games. His fourth quarter stats go way up. He's been keeping the ball safe for the most part. The Steelers' offense is shitty, and that's not all his fault. They just, their whole fan base has been crying to get rid of Matt Canada.
Yeah.
Just major issues for their offense.
This is a tough game to pick.
It is.
We're starting with a tough one. The more I thought about it, the more it's like, I don't like the Steelers in terms of what they have. I don't like what the Titans have, but they showed a lot last week. The Falcons were on a good roll, and they just snuffed them out pretty easily. They were doing whatever they wanted on offense.
Yeah, it's an interesting tough. I mean, the Titans have the momentum. The Steelers, I feel like the Steelers are the type of team that's just can bog down your momentum and just slow it all down.
Well, the Steelers, you look at their record, you're like, how are they 4-3 at this point?
Yeah, I mean they've been stealing games. It's been their defense. They stole that game against the Browns.
They stole a game against the Ravens,
against the Steelers, or against the Rams.
The Rams they beat. Like you look at it and you're like, that's crazy. That's crazy to me that they are where they are.
Yeah, I mean they play well in those close games, and Pickett has been clutch. Honestly, I mean, I feel like I'm taking the Steelers. Even though the Titans are kind of the hot hand, I think the Steelers do enough to slow them down. I think the Titans maybe get off to a hot start here, go up a few touchdowns, but then the Steelers kind of hang in there, and they end up winning by a couple points.
I see this going either one of two ways. One, the Titans look great, and they kind of just have their way again, and then you start to have this debate of, are the Titans legit? I mean, they still have Derrick Henry, and D-Hop, is D-Hop.
And Vrabel's
a great coach. Good. Yeah, their defense, I mean, they did trade away some pieces, but
Jeffrey Simmons
and Kevin Byard. I don't know what what's the plan back there. But that being said, the Steelers are a question mark team every week too. I think I'm gonna go with the Titans here. The Steelers can perform, and they've shown they can, but I kind of think the momentum carries on, at least for a week.
That's gonna be an interesting game. I think
it's a better Thursday night game than I initially thought.
It's two teams in different places running into each other at an interesting time.
I mean, 3-4, 4-3. They're very similar in terms of record.
Yeah.
I think the big question mark is how healthy will Kenny Pickett be. He didn't finish last week's game, so
yeah, we'll see.
It is a big concern.
He says for sure he just doesn't want to see Mitch. They don't want him to be great. In Germany, we got they got the 9:30 a.m. Dolphins Chiefs.
Yeah, this is a game.
That'll be good. That'll be fun.
This is a game.
Honestly, I feel like the Chiefs maybe have a hard time here. I mean, they came off a tough game in Denver. That's got to be tough. You lose to Denver.
Yeah.
First time in your career for Mahomes. Now you got to go to Germany, play the Dolphins. That's got to be tough. Tough on the defense. Man,
I mean, this really can open up the door for first in the AFC. And
Yeah.
you know how important it is to get that round one bye come playoff time? You know, they drop a game here, they're going to fall below the Dolphins. They're going to fall below who else? They have the potential to fall below the Ravens, and they have the potential to fall below the Jags. In a tight race for first. They're all tied.
A lot of 6-2 teams up there.
There are. I mean, there's 4 6-2. Every division's led by 6-2. And I mean, I don't want to compare schedules or anything, but the Jags kind of have a legitimate stake at first in the AFC if all goes well for them.
They very well could. And this is a massive game. This is one of those tiebreaker games. That's how and that's how these top teams see it when they go against each other in the regular season. So I think the Dolphins honestly overwhelm the Chiefs with their offense this week. I think they're probably able to run the ball effectively, and I think they're able to pass the ball effectively. Tyreek probably 150.
Yeah.
Which
Waddle had a good game last week too.
Yeah,
Waddle
did
go off.
But yeah, I like the Dolphins over there. The Chiefs have been a little ticky-tacky. I think they'll figure it out, but
yeah,
I think they continue to drop. I mean, I say continue to drop. They're 6-2, you know, but I think they drop another one.
I have to agree. I don't think this is a playoff game, so I mean it's not. So what I mean by that is I think the Chiefs are a different team to run into come the playoff time, and I think a lot of people are going to look back at this game and say, well, the Dolphins beat them.
Right.
They could do it again. And I'm to that point going to say I think the Chiefs will win in a playoff game, but regular season, it's not December. They're not right there yet. I think they're going to struggle in this one. I think it'll be a high-scoring, closer game, but I think the Dolphins pull away. And you've heard my opinions on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I don't think they make it that far in the playoffs, like to be a Super Bowl team. But regular season-wise, they look great. I think they carry some momentum this week.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there.
Okay.
We got Vikings-Falcons in Atlanta, first of the 1 o'clock window. Kind of a weird game. We'll see who we get with the Vikings. I could be the rookie. His name is slipping me right now.
Yeah, it's a weirder name in terms of who it could be. I remember not hearing his name before, ever.
It is
Jaron Hall.
Jaron Hall, okay.
They plan to start him.
I thought it was someone else, but yeah, it's Jaron Hall, okay. Don't know much about him, to be honest. Going up against Ritter.
I'm going to keep it quick here. I think I like the Falcons.
Yeah.
Just in terms of we don't know what we're going to get out of the Vikings. I think it's a safer pick, and I also think the Vikings are going to need a week or two to figure out what their team's going to look like.
I agree. I think the Vikings minus Kirk Cousins are not a very good team.
Yeah. And, minus Justin Jefferson, too.
Right.
He's on IR.
Jefferson.
He's
so
not playing.
You're down your top 2 players.
Yeah.
Like, good luck.
Yep.
Falcons.
Yep.
Bears, Saints. That's not a good one. Saints are gonna win this game.
Yeah, I think so too.
No spoilers. It's gonna be Bajan again.
Is it?
Yeah. They announced that pretty early on in the week, which is interesting. This is gonna be a hard one. The Bears are gonna really struggle offensively.
I think Bajan is gonna struggle against a really, really good defense.
Yeah,
like the Saints defense is pretty top notch. I don't know what we're going to get. Like, the running game wasn't there last week, which was one of my big things. I said, if they want to have something, their running game needs to help him.
Yeah.
You got to get the ball to DJ Moore a lot more. When you're a rookie, you got to rely on your best player. DJ Moore is your best player. Get him involved. It wasn't there. I mean, they got it to him a couple times, but what do you have, 4 or 5 catches?
Yeah, not enough.
Not enough. If you want to win games for the Bears, you got to show that you know how to take over the game. He's still young. The Saints are a tough one to have to do that against.
Yeah, I just don't see that going very well at all. Honestly, they're gonna just Alvin. Nobody on the Bears can tackle Alvin Kamara.
It's gonna be a tough one.
It's gonna be ugly. They're gonna get silly. They're gonna put Taysom Hill out there, and he's gonna throw 3 touchdowns or something. It's not gonna be a fun one for the Bears. Just in case any Bears fans excited for that, they shouldn't be. Rams Packers in Green Bay. That game might have been fun a few years ago.
Yeah.
But not today.
I don't like what I'm seeing out of either of the quarterbacks. Like,
No.
Jordan Love's been really slow, and he's been turning the ball over a lot. And my stance on Matthew Stafford will not change. Him not getting the wide receiver named Cooper Kupp involved is a big no-no.
Yeah, it's crazy. They've been getting all these Puka Nakuas and Tutu Atwells, but no Cooper Kupp.
I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is more than fantasy. I don't have him.
The Rams are...
What are you doing?
Yeah, they... You would think they'd be getting him involved more.
And they're losing games.
Yeah.
That's, what is that a, formula of disaster or what?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, maybe McVay rights the ship over there, but they're becoming kind of mid, and they're not going to be having those draft pick reinforcements coming in. They sold the farm, so it's going to be a tough couple of years for the Rams, but Packers look terrible too lately. I think I like the Rams here just because the Packers have been so bad.
I do think the Packers might get a couple more this year, wins-wise, but I don't see it right now. Like, I don't know if this is the game I would take the risk in saying the Packers win one. I'm not, like, as high on them as I was before. Like, I thought Love showed a lot of potential. I think the ceiling is still high, but he's not even close right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to even say. I'm seeing this report here that Matt Stafford may even miss some time here with the an injury to Matt Stafford, too.
Really?
So
that changes a lot, too.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take the Packers then.
Yeah,
whether or not. I'll take the Packers because I see them winning some games that, like, I think the Rams will be favored.
Yeah, I think I'll take the Packers, too, because it looks like Stafford might be out.
Who's their backup now?
Brett Rippon.
Okay, it's not even Wolford. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, give me the Packers. Although that offense can still be good. I don't know. Let's be different.
Yeah. No.
We both switch up. That's funny.
Yeah, we have the.
I was leaning towards some. Yeah.
All right. Next game. Let me just.
Commanders Pats.
All right. We got Commanders Pats.
I don't like this one on our schedule.
It's an ugly game. Just in terms of everyone. I'm taking the Patriots.
I want to.
Commanders are going to struggle. They're going to
their defense now is in disarray.
Yeah, no.
And our offense has been moving a little bit better.
Now
there's
Mac
no
Jones
Kendrick
has looked
Bourne,
a little better.
though.
No Kendrick Bourne. ACL.
That's a big blow. I mean, they're going to have to get the younger kids involved. Taekwon, Pop Douglas, Boot.
They have a bad secondary, the Commanders, and they have
a bad everything.
Yeah,
the Commanders are not that good.
No. I think the Patriots. That's the game.
I'm taking the Pats. I don't want us to win. I'm hoping for another Raiders-like game. They just are slow, but I don't like the Commanders at all. I mean, it's Terry McLaurin. That's the only player I like there, in terms of who can get something done.
Right. Not too many solid guys. Gibson can be fun, but he hasn't been.
I like Robinson more, and they don't even give him all the touches.
Yeah. Seahawks, Ravens. Oh, you got the Patriots there?
Yeah, okay. Unfortunately.
Okay. Seahawks, Ravens. That'll be a fun one.
This will be fun.
I'm looking forward to it. That's a hard game to pick, too. These are two teams that I really like.
Yeah, I mean, I know who I like, and I know who I would want to win. Yeah. That's the Seahawks. In my opinion, I think they're the more fun team to win. We'll see. Can their defense match up with, Lamar and Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, OBJ? We'll see.
Yeah.
We've seen them match up and we've seen them not match up, and it's going to be tough. I mean, they just beat the Browns, who's a team that beat them, but that doesn't always mean everything. This is a tough one.
It's crazy, but this game, low-key could be the Super Bowl. I know that probably
it's a dark horse.
It's
a dark horse race of a pick for both sides.
It is, but I just think both these teams are low-key capable. I guess what I'm saying.
I mean, they're both first in their division.
Yeah, they're both just teams that could
Nobody had either. I mean, I guess some people would, but nobody had Seattle over the Niners in the division at any point during this year. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people took the Bengals, and a lot of people dark horsed the Steelers into that.
Yeah.
Even the Browns. So I mean, it's a credit to both of those teams for where they are, both 6-2.
Yeah, it's not even they're just not the Eagles. They're not the Niners.
They're just not the Eagles, and they're not the Niners.
I just think they're just solid teams. I think this is such a hard game to call.
I do know that Seattle has a rough end of year schedule.
Yeah,
they have the Niners the Eagles, the Niners again, and Dallas.
Wow.
Or it might be Dallas and Eagles flipped. But those 4 games are in a row.
That's gonna be tough. They're gonna have to get some of these ones, at the beginning.
So like this game has a huge importance to it.
Yeah, it's hard. This is big. I think.
Give me Seattle. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna take Seattle.
I'm taking Baltimore.
Yeah,
I think they're.
I thought you would.
I think their receivers are fast. Like I think maybe they get the upper hand on some of those DBs who have been great in Seattle.
I had a feeling you were gonna take them. I want it to be different. I think Seattle will be in a big race towards the end of the year, but I think those 4 games are where it's going to be tough.
Absolutely.
It's going to be tough.
Next game, we got Bucks-Texans. Kind of a strange one. It's in Houston. I think the Bucks are maybe a little more solid than the Texans, but...
They are on paper.
They're both 3-4.
Yeah. It's tough. Like, the Texans are coming off losing to the worst team in the league record-wise. That's a big morale sinker. They've had some games where I was like on the bandwagon for them. Like their defense has been good, and then it hasn't been.
Right.
And I feel like they're kind of in a spot where they're not good.
The Bucks have more to play for, given their bad division.
Their division's open.
Right. The Texans are already 4 games behind the Jags. So. I think the Bucks here, I think they have more to play for it, and they're a better team.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucks as well. I just look at where the Texans are at. Like, they still have a foot in the race, but if the Titans become a little bit stronger, like, that race is really tough.
Yeah. Yeah, the Texans...
I don't know if the Texans beat the Titans if they're as good as they were last week.
To me, they're almost effectively, in the developmental phase.
Yeah, I think the Texans have a huge upside for the next 2 years, but right now, I don't know. They're a tough team to pick.
Yeah. Then the Cardinals are playing the Browns. This is the Josh Dobbs trade rematch, but it's not. He's gone.
Game.
He's not on
revenge game written all over it.
The Browns must have been so scared, had this circled on their map. Josh Dobbs is going to get us. But instead he's gone. And it will be whoever the Cardinals are starting, because it's another no-namer getting a start this week.
How crazy is it in the NFL that we have guys that are literally starters playing backup?
It's bizarre. And they're not even like normal backups. They're like, it's a Clayton Tune. Like,
who
what
is that?
Yeah, it's Clayton Tune.
What are we doing?
We got Clayton Tune and Jaron Hall getting starts this week.
What are we doing in the NFL that's the
I just think that there's probably better options.
There are better options.
Are we tanking? Are we tanking, Cardinals? Because it seems like we're tanking.
It seems like we're tanking.
I don't know.
Give me the Browns.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too upset about
Clayton
it.
Tune? Come on.
Come on. Come on.
Who is the Browns quarterback even going to be? Like, we don't know. I don't think
Deshaun, P.J. Walker, I'm taking the Browns. That defense wins some games.
Who is the Browns QB going to be, though?
I thought it was P.J. Walker. Is he hurt?
Is Deshaun coming back? Like, what's his deal?
This will be the game for him to come back if he wants to, put on a show.
Because he's not even injured.
I don't know. I don't know.
Browns don't trade.
Give me the Browns.
Discussing Deshaun. There's just like nothing on Watson.
It's such a weird situation.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So no Josh Dobbs. That's sad. No Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, no revenge game.
That's terrible. Colts Panthers.
Moving on to the 4:00 window. Yeah. This game sucks to pick.
Yeah, that'll
You know what? I don't know if I want to go this far. Man, this is tough. I was gonna actually go on a whim and say the Panthers win again. Low key, I could see it. Who did the Colts play last week? I'm already forgetting. The Saints. They didn't look that good.
Yeah. 38-27
Yeah, and they scored late to make that seem better. The Colts just didn't look good last week. But I'm still gonna take the Colts.
I like the Colts there too.
I like the Colts. I think the Panthers got their one win of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want the Panthers to keep losing.
Yeah, I know for your sake that helps.
I just think the Colts are a little better.
I think defensively they're at least better.
Yeah, I think they just take care of business there. They just got some better players.
Jonathan Taylor game.
Yeah.
All right.
Giants, Raiders.
Battle of the mid.
Worse than mid.
I believe, this isn't confirmed, but this is me going on a limb. I believe Daniel Jones comes back this week.
I would hope so. I mean,
he was borderline there last week. He just wasn't practicing. I gotta imagine he comes back for this game.
He says he's cleared and ready to play, so he will be in. He's ready to go.
I know he's still questionable.
I just saw he said he's ready to go.
I'm taking the Giants. I don't think the Raiders figure it out this week.
No, the Raiders, to me, are my worst team in the NFL, and I think even the Giants find a way around it.
Well, the Giants at least have a good defense. Their defense has shown up the last 3 weeks.
We'll see how they are without Williams.
That's true.
That'll probably make them a little worse, but they'll probably still be better than the Raiders. The Raiders are really bad. That's like a good game for you to come back, Daniel. Like, you could probably
that's a great game to come back to.
Probably look good. Cowboys, Eagles.
This is one that's on everybody's map twice a year.
Yep.
Eagles, I just think, are better though.
Probably. I mean, what's the Cowboys' record at this point?
They're 5-2. They're right behind them.
All right. You know, they're having a good
And they had a really, really good game. They had a complete game last week against the Rams.
Against the Rams. But
all that being said, the Eagles, I think, right now look like a super team. Getting Byard, crazy.
Yeah, that's a big help.
I can't wait to watch him play. Like, I mean, as an outsider looking in, I can't wait to see him in that defense because their defense is loaded.
Eagles are fun. They're hard to stop.
They're just, I mean, like right now, they might be the Super Bowl pick right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, out of the NFC, they're definitely the most complete.
And
team.
Shout out to AJ Brown.
Yeah, AJ Brown.
Oh my God, this guy's going crazy. He's pretty much commanding my fantasy team.
Crazy combo, those two, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen puts the ball on a dime.
Oh, that one-handed catch he had in the corner of the end zone was so filthy.
Pretty awesome. I like the Eagles there.
Yeah.
Bills, Bengals. We had this game last year. DeMar Hamlin.
I don't think DeMar suits up. He hasn't suited up in a minute. Rasul Douglas making his debut for the Bills. I like the Bengals, man. I think they're hot right now.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The Bengals are really hot lately.
And you know who's not hot? The
Bills.
Bills.
Yeah,
they are struggling. And I do think they're going to get one of those games this year where they're like statement win. I don't think it's this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Bengals are kind of the upper hand on this one. I think the Bills are in a really rough spot right now as a team, and I don't think it's going to get better this game.
Yeah.
Chargers, Jets on Monday night.
Give me the Chargers.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get from the Jets, but like the offense couldn't move. And I mean, credit to the Giants defense last week, but their offense was pretty bad until Zach Wilson clutched up. And they won it in overtime. But, I think I just like the Chargers more in terms of what you can get offensively.
The Jets have been so bad on offense, and whenever there's a team that even puts up the slightest bit of resistance, then they just can't seem to score. You'd think that the Chargers will probably have issues moving the ball, though. Like, it's not going to be easy, but they'll probably move it a little better than the Jets.
Gotta imagine.
I'll take the Chargers in that game. As well.
All right. Well, that wraps that up. And a little quick shout out: 9-8. I won last week. So I don't know. What is that? You got one win.
I've only gotten one.
To my 7 to that point.
I think we tied 1 week.
Oh, I think we did. All right. So we'll say 6-1.
Okay.
6-1.
Oof. That's tough.
That's a pretty big. Come back. It's a pretty big hill to climb.
Gotta come back. I'm making the comeback. I'm coming. I'm coming strong.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness.
Talk some NBA though.
Yes.
It's been interesting. The debuts of Wemby. I love watching him. It's funny watching him like run around and he like takes up the space of like 2 normal people.
Dude, I mean, he can just dunk from so far away. His wingspan is insane.
Just a very large individual.
Yeah.
And then the Celtics dominant to start the season.
Oh, I love it. I love to see it. A defense has been phenomenal. The only thing a lot of people have said, and I'm not really big on this because when you look at what our starters are doing, they're pretty much owning the game. The bench has been quiet. I think it's going to take I think some of those guys are going to heat up and they'll play their role when it gets to that point. But right now, we're looking at the starting 5 look absolutely dominant. Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and oh my God, Porzingis has been playing amazing. I didn't expect this well of a start for him. Keep him healthy. He's playing a lot of minutes. But, I mean, like, the whole starting five is averaging 20 a game.
They've been awesome. And, I mean, we got to bring it up. The James Harden trade, 3 games into the year.
Yeah, we had to bring this up. Who do you think won this trade?
Not the Clippers.
Yeah.
I mean, the team that adds James Harden is not winning. I mean, I just don't. Will this team even be healthy come playoff time? The only thing I can say about this trade is maybe when Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are injured in the playoffs, you'll have a healthy James Harden. Maybe you can hang your head on that.
Here's the full trade details, just so everybody knows if they haven't heard it. It was very, was it late in the morning or was it?
It was like 2 a.m.
Yeah. So it was overnight this Tuesday. Sixers trade Harden, PJ Tucker, and Philip Petrusev to the Clippers, and in return, they get Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, a 2028 unprotected first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a 2029 pick swap, and an additional first-rounder that will be routed from OKC. That was a lot of picks. Yeah. At least they got picks.
I mean, they got some 3-and-D guys. I mean, I don't know. Who's their point guard going for? They got, like, Maxey.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's a lot more time in the ball for his hands, and I think that's what the Sixers are going to want going forward.
No, that makes sense. You get your 3-and-D guys kind of coming through.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad PJ Tucker's off that team. That's one less pesky defender.
Right.
Celtics have to deal with.
Not sure really what you're getting from Robert Covington.
I was going to say Covington, career. Morris, Batum, they're pretty up there.
Yeah, they're all kind of
But speaking of up there, I think the Clippers have the oldest team in the league now.
Definitely.
That roster is very old.
Especially the starters. I mean,
oh, my God. Yeah, it's bad.
It's weird. I mean, you don't really see teams built like that these days, to be honest.
Could you imagine that lineup 6 years ago?
It would have been
that would be a
ever.
death lineup. It would have been ridiculous. You were not beating that team.
No, but, I mean, even Paul George and Kawhi aren't the defenders they were when they were young. You need younger, quicker, lateral defenders.
Yeah, it plays a part when you're not playing all 82.
Yeah, it's
of course you're gonna miss a couple here and there, but you're missing 30 games at a clip, and you're dealing with big injuries every year.
I don't really see this all working out. Great.
I don't see the Clippers winning that.
No.
I mean, at least for the Sixers, they got a lot of draft capital.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see that being the big win for them.
Definitely not. Looking around the league, the Nuggets off to that 4-0 start.
Yeah.
And the Mavs, they haven't lost a game either.
Yeah, Mavs have surprised me a little bit. We'll see how long that cohesion works. I don't really think they've beaten anybody too eye-dropping for me.
Yeah, they got wins against the Grizzlies.
No Ja.
Yeah. Looking over, what else? Who have they got?
I think they played, who'd they just beat? The Pelicans? Was it them? I don't know.
They've beaten the Spurs.
Oh, the Spurs is who it was,
the Nets.
So, I mean, that's not too impressive to me so far, but those were some of those games that they dropped towards the end of last year. They're cleaning it up.
Right, yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I had low expectations, so we will see.
They might, I didn't want to say it. They might crack the playoffs, and I hope not because I hate Kyrie. So there's huge bias there. Right. Take that as it is.
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see what we get from them. Luka has been going insane. He's put the team on his back, and it's his team. That's what everybody said in that organization, and we've yet to hear if Kyrie's complained about that. But at some point, I think that might creep up. We'll see.
It'll be interesting. So who do you have as your top 5 teams?
So at the 1, it's the Celtics. No debate there for me. They just look so good. I talked a little bit about it. They just look so good. At the 2, I've got the Nuggets. I think they're going to win the West pretty heavy-handedly. I've said that going into this year. I'm keeping that in mind because they look great. At number 3, I know they had a bad game. I'm keeping the Bucks up there. Dame had an off night against Atlanta, only had 6 a couple nights ago. But I still think that team's going to be really, really good. At 4, give me the Warriors. I've liked what I've seen from them so far. I mean, they just look really, really good at the moment. And then, I mean, that's with a loss too, but I like what I see. And then I like the Suns' future. They haven't played with Beal yet, and they're winning games. So I like the Suns at the 5 just at the moment.
I got literally the same lineup, except I have the Nuggets and the Celtics swap. That's the only difference I had. I just, Nuggets coming off the championship. Let's, I mean, there's really no way to tell this early in the season.
Yeah, no, it's a week 1, week 2,
right.
Whatever you want to call it. We're just early season.
Yep.
I think we'll put feelers out a good amount during the season.
And I think the Warriors are going to be really strong too. So, I mean, I think any one of those 5 teams, I think I have the Suns like a tier below, maybe those top 4.
Yeah,
me
too.
But
I didn't know who to put at 5. Like it's tough. I think like OKC could make a case.
Yeah, like I'm not confidently putting the Suns. The Suns are just there because they are stacked.
They're stacked,
but that
top
doesn't
4.
mean that they're a top 5 team necessarily.
I mean, I think Sacramento has a case for creeping in a couple times. They lost their star player Fox for a couple of weeks. That's gonna hurt.
Like I feel good about those top 4.
Yeah.
And then like I feel like those next group of teams it's gonna be about like how good do they play as teams.
Yeah.
So it's not just about what players do you have at that point.
I think it's tough. I think the top 4 teams are the top 4 teams. And I don't think that's gonna change much.
I agree. I don't see that changing
We'll see.
unless there's big injuries or so, knock on wood. But that's about it for the for episode 8 of the Blowout. 9. Episode 9. We're killing it. Episode 9. Thank you again for joining us. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.